Will you marry my dad, please? Veronica Collins stared at the 6-year-old girl standing in her doorway at midnight. Lily's small hands were clasped together, her dark eyes wide and pleading. Behind her, the penthouse hallway stretched into darkness. Lily, sweetheart, you should be in bed. I heard him crying again, Lily whispered. In Mom's room, the one he keeps locked. That's when Veronica realized something. Taking this job wasn't an escape from danger. She'd just walked into something far worse. Her name was Veronica Collins, and 3 weeks ago she'd become a live-in maid for one of the most powerful men in the city. She thought she was running from a nightmare. She had no idea she was running straight into one. But to understand how she got here, you need to know where it all started. And if you want to find out what happens next, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because this story takes turns you won't see coming. Now let me take you back to where it all began. 3 months earlier, Veronica sat on the edge of her lumpy mattress, staring at the eviction notice in her hands. 3 months behind on rent, the numbers blurred together as tears filled her eyes. She was a good person. She worked hard. How had everything fallen apart so quickly? A knock at the door made her jump. She knew that knock. Heavy, insistent. She'd been dreading it all week. Veronica, I know you're in there. Max's voice carried through the thin door. We need to talk about your situation. She stayed quiet, hoping he'd leave. He didn't. Come on now, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Slowly, she opened the door but kept the chain lock engaged. Max stood there in his stained undershirt, a smile on his face that made her skin crawl. There she is. Listen, I've been thinking about your rent problem. I'll have the money soon. I'm looking for a second job. That's the thing, though. You don't need a second job. He leaned closer. The chain was the only thing between them. You could work off the debt right here. I'm a reasonable man, Veronica. I'm sure we could come to some kind of arrangement. His eyes traveled down her body in a way that made her feel sick. I need more time, that's all. Time's up, sweetheart. Either you work something out with me by Friday or you're out. Your choice. He walked away whistling. Veronica closed the door and slid down to the floor. She had 3 days. 3 days to find a miracle or end up on the street. Or worse, agree to Max's arrangement. That night, desperate and out of options, she scrolled through every job listing she could find. Most required experience she didn't have or paid barely enough to cover food. Then she saw it. Live-in housekeeper. Private residence, room and board plus salary. Discretion required. Immediate start available. The pay was more than she'd made in her last 3 jobs combined. It seemed too good to be true, but she was past the point of being picky. She sent her information and fell asleep with her phone clutched in her hand. The response came at 6 in the morning. Interview today. 2 p.m. Come alone. The address led her to a building in the wealthiest part of the city, the kind of place where doormen wore white gloves and knew your name. Veronica smoothed down her best dress, the only one without stains or tears, and tried to look like she belonged. The interview wasn't conducted by the homeowner. Instead, a severe-looking man in a black suit met her in a private office on the ground floor. Miss Collins, I'm Mr. Hahn, head of security for the Park family. This interview will determine if you're suitable for the position. Security? Veronica asked. For a housekeeper? Mr. Park values his privacy very highly. You'll be responsible for maintaining the household and caring for his 6-year-old daughter. You don't ask questions about Mr. Park's business. You don't discuss what you see or hear in the residence. You don't speak to the media under any circumstances. Do you understand? Every instinct told her to run. But then she thought of Max waiting for her answer. She even thought of sleeping in her car, or worse. I understand. Good, you'll start tomorrow. Pack everything you need. Once you move in, you'll have limited days off for the first 3 months. Mr. Park needs to know his daughter is in stable hands. The next morning, Veronica stuffed her entire life into 2 battered suitcases. She left her apartment key on the counter with a note for Max saying she'd found other accommodations. She didn't leave a forwarding address. The penthouse occupied the entire top floor. When the elevator doors opened, Veronica stepped into a home that looked like it belonged in a magazine. Everything was pristine, perfectly arranged but somehow cold. Like a museum where people weren't really meant to live. A man stood by the tall windows overlooking the city. He turned as she entered and Veronica's breath caught. Tae-yun Park was younger than she'd expected, probably in his early 30s. He wore an expensive black suit with a white shirt, the top button undone. Dark hair fell across his forehead, and she could see the edge of a tattoo creeping up his neck. But it was his eyes that struck her. They were completely empty, like he'd stopped feeling anything a long time ago. "Miss Collins, thank you for coming on such short notice." His voice was quiet, controlled. "My daughter needs stability. The last 3 housekeepers left within a month. Can you provide what she needs?" Before Veronica could answer, a small tornado burst into the room. "Daddy, I can't find Mr. Whiskers, and I think he's lost forever, and we need to call the police." The little girl skidded to a stop when she saw Veronica. "Oh, hello." Lily Park wore a soft pink dress with delicate details at the shoulders. Her dark hair was pulled back, though several strands had escaped. She stared at Veronica with open curiosity. "Are you my new nanny?" The last one left because she said this house made her sad. Tae-yun's jaw tightened. "Lily, we've discussed this. Go to your room." "But Mr. Whiskers." "Now!" The little girl's face fell, but she obeyed. Before she left, she grabbed Veronica's hand. Her fingers were so small and warm. "You have kind eyes," Lily whispered. "Please don't leave like the others." Then she was gone, leaving Veronica standing there with her heart breaking for a child she'd known for 30 seconds. "I apologize," Tae-yun said. "She's very attached. Since her mother—" He stopped. "Your room is down the hall. Mr. Han will show you. You start tomorrow." That first week, Veronica learned the rules. She cooked, cleaned, and made sure Lily got to school on time. The East Wing was off limits. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, Tae-yun disappeared for exactly 3 hours. No one explained where he went. The strangest thing was the photographs. They were everywhere, in silver frames on shelves and tables. Most showed Tae-yun and Lily at various ages, but in several there was a third person, a woman, except her face had been turned away from the camera or carefully cut from the frame, like someone had tried to erase her from the family history. Lily never mentioned her mother, not once, but she did attach herself to Veronica with an intensity that was both touching and concerning. The little girl followed her everywhere, chattering constantly, helping with chores, and inventing reasons why Veronica needed to stay close. "Can you help me pick out my dress for school? I need someone to test my breakfast to make sure it's not poisoned. Daddy says I should practice my reading. Will you listen?" At first, Veronica thought it was normal for a lonely child. Then she started to see the pattern. One evening at dinner, Lily spilled her entire glass of juice across the table. It soaked her dress and dripped onto the floor. "Oh no!" Lily wailed. "Now I'm all sticky. Veronica, only you can help me change. You know which dress I like." Tae-yun started to stand. "I can—" "No!" Lily grabbed Veronica's hand. "Please, you do it better." Veronica glanced at Tae-yun, who nodded stiffly. She led Lily to her bedroom, a space filled with books and toys, but somehow as sterile as the rest of the house. "Okay, little one, let's get you cleaned up." As she helped Lily into a fresh dress, the girl suddenly asked, "Do you like my daddy?" Veronica blinked. "Of course. He's my employer. He seems like a good father." But do you think he's handsome? Lily, because I think you're pretty, and you're nice, and you don't leave even when things get hard. Sweetheart, where is this coming from? Lily looked down at her hands. The last nanny said Daddy was scary. She said this whole house was wrong. But you're not scared, are you? Veronica knelt down to meet Lily's eyes. No, honey, I'm not scared. Good. Lily threw her arms around Veronica's neck. Because I want you to stay forever. Later, when Veronica was reading Lily a bedtime story, she heard footsteps in the hall. Tae-yun stood in the doorway watching them. Lily had fallen asleep with her head on Veronica's lap, one small hand clutching the edge of her shirt. She hasn't done that in a long time, he said quietly. Done what? Fallen asleep that peacefully. Something flickered across his face. Pain, maybe. Or longing. Thank you. He disappeared before she could respond. The campaign began in earnest the next week. Lily started having nightmares. At least that's what she claimed. Every night around 2 in the morning, she'd appear at Veronica's door, tears streaming down her face. I dreamed about the water again, the dark water. Can I stay with you? Veronica never had the heart to say no. She'd settle Lily in her bed, humming softly and stroking her hair until the girl drifted off. It became routine. What Veronica didn't know was that Tae-yun checked on his daughter every night, and he'd appear in the doorway at 2:30, finding Veronica curled around Lily, both of them asleep. He'd stand there for several minutes just watching before quietly closing the door. On Thursday morning, Lily struck again. They were all at breakfast when the little girl asked, perfectly casual, Veronica, do you have a husband? Veronica nearly choked on her coffee. No, sweetheart. Do you want one? Tae-yun's cup clattered against his saucer. Lily, that's inappropriate. Why, you need a wife? Yours is broken. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Tae-yun stood so quickly his chair tipped backward. That's enough. But it's true, you said so to Uncle Jin. You said Mom's broken and she's never coming back and… Lily Park, go to your room. Now. The little girl's lip trembled. She looked at Veronica with desperate eyes. I just want someone who stays. Then she ran from the room. Tae-yun stood there, his hands gripping the edge of the table, breathing hard. Veronica had never seen him this close to losing control. I apologize, he said through clenched teeth. She doesn't understand. Understand what? He looked at her then, really looked at her, and the anguish in his eyes made her heart ache. That some things can't be fixed. He left without another word. That night, Veronica couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Lily's words, about the locked room in the East Wing, about the woman whose face had been erased from every photograph. Around midnight, she gave up and went to get some water. Light spilled from under the door of Tae-yun's study. She knew she should go back to bed, mind her own business like Mr. Han had instructed, but something pulled her forward. She knocked softly. No answer. She pushed the door open. Tae-yun sat at his desk, a bottle of whiskey beside him, staring at a photograph. In this one, the woman's face was visible. She was beautiful, with delicate features and long, dark hair. But her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. She's not dead, is she? Veronica asked quietly. A long silence. Then, no. She's at Clearwater Psychiatric Facility. She's been there for 3 years. Veronica stepped into the room. What happened? Tae-yun took a long drink. She tried to drown our daughter in the bathtub. His voice cracked. I came home early from work. Found Lily unconscious on the bathroom floor, water everywhere. My wife was just sitting there, humming a lullaby. She didn't even know what she'd done. Oh, God. The doctor said it was postpartum psychosis, but Lily was 3 years old. It came on so suddenly, so violently. One day, Soo-yun was fine. The next, she was trying to kill our daughter. He set down his glass. She doesn't recognize me anymore. Most days she doesn't recognize herself. I visit every Tuesday and Thursday hoping. But she's been gone for 3 years. The woman I married doesn't exist anymore. But you still go. I made vows. For better or worse, Lily is safe. My wife is being cared for. That has to be enough. Veronica sat down across from him. And what about you? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. I stopped mattering 3 years ago. That's not true, isn't it? I'm a ghost in my own home. I go through the motions. I make sure Lily has everything she needs. But I haven't felt anything real in so long I forgot what it was like. He looked at her. Until you walked into our lives. The air between them changed, charged, dangerous. Mr. Park, when you read to Lily, you do the voices, you make her laugh. When you cook breakfast, you hum. When you think no one is watching, you dance while you clean. His voice dropped to almost a whisper. You made this house feel alive again. Veronica's heart pounded. I'm just the housekeeper. No, you're not. They stared at each other across the desk. Veronica knew she should leave. This was crossing every line. But she couldn't make herself move. Finally, Tae-yun stood. It's late. You should get some rest. The moment broke. Veronica fled to her room, her mind racing. After that night, everything shifted, and the glances across the dinner table lingered a little too long. When Tae-yun handed her Lily's lunchbox in the morning, their fingers would brush and neither would pull away immediately. The way he said her name, Veronica, like it meant something more. Lily noticed. Of course she did. Children always knew. The campaign escalated. One afternoon, Lily convinced Veronica to help her get snacks from the pantry. The moment they were both inside, the little girl darted out and locked the door. Lily, what are you doing? I'm not letting you out until you kiss Daddy. Lily Park, unlock this door right now. Nope, you have to promise. That's when Tae-yun arrived home early. Lily, what's going on? Daddy, perfect. You have to get in the pantry too. Why would I? Just do it, it's an emergency. Somehow, Lily managed to manipulate her father into the pantry. The moment he was inside, she locked them both in. Lily! Tae-yun's voice was stern. This isn't funny. I'll let you out when you kiss. You like each other, I can tell. Just do it already. Veronica couldn't help it. She started laughing. The absurdity of it all, being locked in a pantry by a 6-year-old playing matchmaker, was too much. Tae-yun stared at her. Then slowly a smile tugged at his lips. It was the first real smile she'd seen from him. My daughter is holding us hostage. Apparently so. They were standing very close in the small space. Veronica could smell his cologne, something woody and expensive, could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. I'm mortified, he said softly. Don't be, it's actually kind of sweet. She's trying to replace her mother. No, she's trying to give her father permission to be happy again. His hand came up, almost touching her face, then dropped. I have no right to want this. To want you. Veronica's breath caught. Then don't think about rights. His phone rang. The spell broke. He answered it and his face went pale. What? When? I'm on my way. He pounded on the door. Lily, open this right now. The little girl must have heard something in his voice because she obeyed immediately. Tae-yun was already calling for his security. What's wrong? Veronica asked. My wife. She's escaped from the facility. The next 3 days were tense. Security was doubled. Lily wasn't allowed to leave the house. Tae-yun barely slept, constantly on the phone with the facility, the police, private investigators. Then on the 4th day, the doorbell rang. Veronica answered it. A thin woman stood there, dressed in clothes that hung off her frame. Her hair was longer than in the photographs, but Veronica recognized her immediately. Soo-yun Park had come home. I need to see my husband, she said. Her voice was steady, clear. Please, I know he's here. Tae-yun appeared behind Veronica. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Soo-yun. Hello, Tae-yun. She smiled, but it was sad. May I come in? I promise I'm not here to cause trouble. I just need to talk to you, both of you. They sat in the living room. Lily stayed in her room with security nearby. Soo-yun accepted a glass of water with shaking hands. I know what you're thinking, she said. That I'm still sick, that I'm dangerous, but I'm not. Not anymore. The facility said you were making progress, but you weren't ready for release, Tae-yun said carefully. And because I didn't tell them what I'd remembered, I needed to get out first to tell you in person. She took a breath. I wasn't sick, Tae-yun. Not naturally, someone poisoned me. The words hung in the air. What? For months, someone put something in my vitamins. Small doses at first, enough to make me paranoid, confused, then more, until I completely lost touch with reality. Tears ran down her face. I would never hurt Lily, never, but I couldn't control what my mind was telling me. That day I thought she was drowning in poison, that I had to get it out of her. I thought I was saving her. Tae-yun looked like he might be sick. Who would do that? Uncle Jin. The name hit like a physical blow. Jin was Tae-yun's business partner, his closest friend, and the man who'd helped him through everything after Soo-yun was institutionalized. That's not possible. I have proof, medical records from a doctor who tested my blood after I started getting better. A private investigator's report. Jin wanted control of your business. He knew you'd never abandon me, never make the ruthless decisions he thought you should. So he decided to remove me from the equation. She pulled out a folder from her bag and handed it to Tae-yun. As he read through it, his hands started shaking. The plan was to make me so violent I'd be locked away, then gradually increase the dosage until my body gave out. Natural causes, they'd say. He didn't count on me surviving long enough for the drugs to leave my system. Didn't count on me remembering. Veronica watched this woman, this stranger who'd been living in shadows for 3 years, and saw something remarkable. Strength, courage, survival. Jin knows I've escaped, Soo-yun continued. He knows I'm getting my memory back. He'll come for all of us tonight. I came to warn you. Tae-yun was already on his phone calling his security team, the police. But even as he organized their defense, Veronica saw the guilt eating him alive. He'd trusted Jin, let him into their home around Lily while his wife suffered. I should run, Veronica said quietly. This isn't my fight. Soo-yun looked at her then, really looked at her. You're the housekeeper, the one Lily talks about. You've spoken to Lily? I call sometimes. The facility lets me. I don't tell her who I am. I just listen to her talk about her day. And lately, every conversation has been about Veronica. How Veronica makes the best pancakes. How Veronica does funny voices when she reads. How Veronica makes Daddy smile again. Veronica felt her face heat. I'm just doing my job. No, you've been doing mine. Soo-yun's eyes were kind. You've been taking care of my family when I couldn't, and I can see it in my husband's eyes. He cares about you. Mrs. Park, I never meant... I know, and I'm grateful. She reached out and took Veronica's hand. Please don't leave. Whatever happens tonight, Lily needs you. She'll need you after too. Before Veronica could respond, Lily's voice rang out from down the hall. Mommy? Everyone froze. The little girl stood in the doorway, staring at Soo-yun with wide eyes. She was trembling. Lily, sweetheart, Tae-yun started, but Lily wasn't looking at him. She backed away, straight into Veronica. Irene grabbed onto her with both hands. The water lady, Lily whispered, the one from my dreams. Soo-yun's face crumpled. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Veronica, don't let her near me, please. Veronica's heart broke. She knelt down and wrapped Lily in her arms. It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe. I promise you're safe. I want to go to my room with you, please. Okay, we can do that. As Veronica led Lily away, she heard Soo-yoon crying and Tae-yun trying to comfort her. The sound followed them down the hall. In Lily's room, the little girl wouldn't let go. She clung to Veronica like a lifeline, her small body shaking. I thought she was gone forever, Lily whispered. I thought I made her go away because I was bad. Oh, honey, no, none of this was your fault. But she tried to hurt me. She was sick. Someone made her sick. But she's better now and she loves you so much. I don't remember that. I only remember being scared. Veronica held her tighter. I know. And it's okay to be scared, but I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Promise? I promise. They stayed like that for a long time. Eventually, Lily fell asleep in Veronica's lap, exhausted from fear and emotion. That's when Veronica heard the commotion downstairs. She carefully laid Lily on the bed and crept to the door. Voices, angry voices. One of them was Jin's. You can't prove anything. I have medical records. I have witness testimony. The police are on their way, Jin. It's over. Over? You ungrateful fool. I built this empire with you, and you were going to throw it all away for what? A broken woman and a brat? Veronica moved quickly but quietly down the hall. From the stairs, she could see the living room. Jin stood in the center, flanked by two large men in suits. Tae-yun faced him and Soo-yun stood to the side, pale but determined. Security guards hovered nearby, but no one had made a move yet. She was never broken, Tae-yun said, his voice deadly calm. You broke her. You poisoned her. You destroyed my family. Your family? Jin laughed. You mean the family that was holding you back? The wife who wanted you to go legitimate? To leave the business that made you rich? The child who made you soft? They made me human. Exactly. And that was your weakness. Jin pulled out a gun. Everything happened fast. The security guards moved, but Jin was faster. He grabbed Soo-yun, pressing the gun to her head. Everyone back, or I'll finish what I started 3 years ago. Jin, please. Tae-yun's voice shook. Let her go. You want to hurt someone, hurt me. Where's the fun in that? I want you to watch. Want you to lose everything again. Want you to know that all of this was for nothing. That's when Veronica did something incredibly stupid and brave. She stepped into view at the top of the stairs. Let her go, she called out. The police are outside. You're surrounded. It's over. Jin's eyes snapped to her. Who the hell are you? I'm no one. Just the housekeeper, but I'm also the person who called the police 10 minutes ago and has been recording every word you've said on my phone. She held up her phone, the recording app clearly visible. Jin's face went red. The distraction was all Tae-yun needed. He moved fast and precise, disarming Jin before he could react. The security guards swarmed in, restraining Jin and his men. Police burst through the doors moments later. Sirens wailed outside. It was chaos, but it was over. Jin was arrested. The recording Veronica had made, combined with Soo-yun's evidence, would be more than enough to convict him. As they took him away, he screamed threats and accusations, but no one listened. In the aftermath, Tae-yun pulled Veronica aside. That was the most reckless thing anyone has ever done. I know, I'm sorry. Don't apologize. You saved her life. His hands were shaking. You saved all of us. I just did what anyone would do. No. You did what family does. The word hung between them. Family. Soo-yun approached, looking drained but more at peace than Veronica had seen her. Thank you, she said simply. You don't have to thank me. Yes, I do. You protected my daughter when I couldn't. Now you stood up to a man with a gun for a family that isn't even yours. But it is, Veronica said softly. It feels like it is. The 3 months that followed were complicated and messy and beautiful in their own way. Soo-yun started therapy, intensive sessions 3 times a week. She moved into an apartment nearby, close enough to visit Lily regularly, but far enough that the little girl didn't feel overwhelmed. The visits were hard at first. Lily would hide behind Veronica, peeking out at the mother she barely remembered. But Soo-yun was patient. She brought books and read to Lily from across the room. She talked about her day, about her recovery, never pushing for more than Lily could give. Slowly, carefully, they began to rebuild. One afternoon, Veronica found Soo-yun and Tae-yun talking in the study. She started to leave, but Soo-yun called her in. "We were actually hoping to talk to you," Soo-yun said. "Both of you?" Tae-yun nodded. "Sit down, please." Veronica sat, her heart pounding. Soo-yun took a breath. "The last few months have taught me a lot about myself, about who I am versus who I was. The doctors say the poisoning, combined with the trauma, changed something fundamental in my brain. I remember loving Tae-yun. I remember our life together. But it's like watching a movie about someone else." Tae-yun reached over and took his wife's hand. Former wife, Veronica realized. "We've decided to divorce," he said quietly. "Soo-yun needs to heal and discover who she is now. And I need to let go of trying to bring back someone who doesn't exist anymore." "I'll always be Lily's mother," Soo-yun added quickly. "That won't change. But Tae-yun and we're not meant to be married anymore. We both know it." "I don't understand why you're telling me this," Veronica said, though her heart was racing. Soo-yun smiled. "Because I see the way my daughter looks at you, the way she runs to you when she's scared, laughs with you when she's happy. You've given her something I couldn't: stability, joy, safety. And I see the way Tae-yun looks at you," she continued, "like you brought light back into a dark house, like you're the first real thing he's felt in years." Veronica's throat tightened. "Mrs. Park, call me Soo-yun. We're not strangers anymore." She squeezed Veronica's hand. "I'm giving you my blessing. Not that you need it, but I want you to know. Don't leave this family because you think you're not supposed to be here. And you're exactly where you belong." Tears streamed down Veronica's face. Soo-yun hugged her, this woman who should have been her rival but had become something like a friend. "Thank you," Veronica whispered. "For everything." 6 months later, Veronica stood in the park watching Lily chase pigeons, her pink dress fluttering in the breeze. The little girl's laughter rang out across the grass, pure and free. Soo-yun sat on a nearby bench with her therapist, smiling as she watched her daughter play. She was still fragile, still healing, but present in a way that mattered. "She's getting fast," Tae-yun said, coming up beside Veronica with 2 cups of coffee. "Too fast. Pretty soon she won't need me to catch her when she falls." "I don't think that's true." He handed her a cup. I don't think she'll ever stop needing you." They watched Lily in comfortable silence. Things between them had developed slowly, carefully, with respect for Lily's feelings and Soo-yun's recovery. Nothing inappropriate, nothing rushed. Just quiet moments of connection that felt right. Lily spotted them and came running over. "Can we get ice cream, please? Pretty please, with cherries on top?" "It's almost dinner time," Veronica said. "But it's Saturday. Saturday is special. And I got all A's on my spelling test." Tae-yun and Veronica exchanged a look. "How can we say no to straight A's?" Tae-yun said. "Yes!" Lily grabbed both their hands, swinging between them as they walked toward the ice cream cart. "Daddy?" "Yes, princess? Does this mean Veronica is staying forever now?" Tae-yun looked over Lily's head at Veronica. There was a question in his eyes. Hope, fear, love. "Yeah, sweetheart," Veronica said softly. "I'm staying." "Good. Because I already told everyone at school you're my almost mom. Almost, Mom, Veronica laughed. Is that an official title? Uh-huh. It means you're the mom who chose to stay when you didn't have to. That's even better than regular moms. From her bench, Soo-yoon watched them walk away, the three of them together. Her therapist touched her arm gently. How are you feeling? Soo-yoon wiped away tears, but she was smiling. Grateful. They look happy. Lily looks happy. That's all I ever wanted. And what about you? What do you want? To keep healing. To be the best mother I can be, even if it looks different than I planned. To forgive myself. She paused. To let them be the family they've become, even without guilt. That's beautiful growth, Soo-yoon. I learned it from her, from Veronica. She taught me that family isn't always about biology or vows. Sometimes it's about who shows up, who stays, who chooses you every single day. Back at the ice cream cart, Lily was describing in great detail exactly how many sprinkles she wanted. Tae-yun and Veronica listened with mock seriousness, occasionally catching each other's eyes and smiling. Later, as the sun set over the city, they walked home together. Lily fell asleep on Tae-yun's shoulder, sticky from ice cream and worn out from playing. Veronica walked beside them, carrying Lily's shoes. Thank you, Tae-yun said quietly, so as not to wake his daughter. For what? For answering an ad from a stranger, for staying when things got complicated, and for loving my daughter when you didn't have to, for making me believe in second chances. I'm the one who should be thanking you. I came here running from someone who scared me. I found a family that made me brave. They walked in silence for a moment. Then Tae-yun shifted Lily in his arms and reached for Veronica's hand. She took it. It wasn't dramatic or earth-shattering. It was simple and real and right. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is open your heart when everything tells you to run. But sometimes, just sometimes, staying is how you find your way home. Three people walking through a park at sunset. A father carrying his sleeping daughter. A woman who'd come as a housekeeper and become something irreplaceable. And somewhere behind them, another woman watching with bittersweet joy, learning to let go and hold on at the same time. Not a perfect family, not a simple one, but theirs. And it was real. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more emotional, powerful stories every week. Drop a comment telling me, would you have stayed or would you have run? I read every single one. Until next time, remember that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about choice.